Hello. How are you?
Good, and you?
Good, thank you.
I have a quick question. On Monday, I was in the conference with Lynn, and she told me to come
Yeah,
to the one today at 1. Is this the same conference?
it's the one she was talking about.
Okay,
Yes.
wanted to make sure.
Yep.
Okay, and also I'm outside at like the pool area at my complex, and this
Okay.
music playing, is it too loud?
Nope. You're
Okay,
good.
I can't turn it down, so I was like, I was sorry.
Wow. I'm going to try to rejoin because my camera's all screwy. So I'm going to
Okay.
get off and get back on.
All right. Cool. Hey, Samantha, can you give me host privileges, please?
I'm not running it, so I think you might already be host.
No. Let's see if it says who is. No. All right. Let me see if I can get Tiffany to jump on to do.
Yeah, I was like, it's free for right now. I'll ask her to use it.
Okay, so there.
Okay, get that one for you. I'll book it for the next hour.
Oh, you can do it for me?
Yeah.
It's not here,
I'm not throwing you out.
or just moving this around. Well, that's kind of nice from what I get, you guys.
Yeah, we're just expanding a lot right now.
Sorry.
All right, everybody, give me a minute. I'm gonna get gotta jump some host privileges on here and then we'll get started. Assuming I can find.
I've got a lot of them are their houses are needing to be built. So I've got 3 of them that are building houses, and those will be finished in the summer. So I've got those. Yeah. So my cells, the ones that I have coming, one of them's waiting on his transfer orders to come through. So is the other one. And then I got 2 that are waiting on their houses to be built. And then I got
All right, let's see.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey,
Hey,
I'm leading it. I'm just waiting for I gotta get host privileges on here. And yep, okay, perfect. Here we go. All right, so hey everyone, sorry for the delayed start. We're gonna jump into this. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good. How about everyone other than Lynn? How about you doing? Let's get some, there we go. Some thumbs up. I get to see some pretty faces, which is good. All right, so we are going to be talking about the economic model. Did everyone get a chance to look at the video that we sent out regarding setting your income goal? Okay, if not, it was sent out earlier this week. We'll post it on Facebook as well, so you can take a look at it. Basically, it was an exercise to walk through to set your income goal, because in order to do this first step in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent models, you need to know what your income goal is, right? Because in order to do that, in order to set your economic model, you have to have an income goal, right? And one of the things that we talked about in there was, you may not be in real estate solely for your big why of money. You may have other things in there. However, your big why may be something that's not driven necessarily by money. However, the goal of real estate provides the money you need to live while you pursue your big why. So whether or not your goal is to make $100,000 a year or $1 million a year, it really makes no difference to us as long as you're passionate about that goal. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to run through the exercise of how to turn that income goal basically into activities. Okay. So this is the first of the 4 models of the MREA. So if you look at In the book, in one of the first sections, it's basically the overview of the models. The figure I want to jump to really quickly, if you have your book, if not, I'll show it to you, no worries, is figure 3 and figure 4 that's in the one of the first chapters. And if you can see, I'll just kind of hold it up. This is the 4 different models. That's what I'm looking at in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I don't have my physical one in front of me, so I can't tell you exactly what page it is. So it breaks down the models. The first one's the economic model. The second one is the lead generation model. The third one is the budget model. The fourth one is the organizational model. Okay, so the point of the economic model, which we're going to run through today, is, as you see in here, the 3 big things under the economic model that you can kind of see in there is know what appointments you must hit, right? Those are the numbers you must hit. Focus on appointments and focus on conversions, right? So know the numbers you must hit. Focus specifically on appointments and specifically on conversions, right? So what happens a lot of times is we get into the business and we say, great, I'm going to build my database. I'm going to do all of these things. However, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing. How many appointments should I be going on, right? How many phone calls should I be making? Thank you, by the way, Samantha. It's pages 122 and 123. There we go. So if you are in your book, I really appreciate that. So how do you break this income number down into the actual appointments you need to go on? So we're going to go through the economic model here. I'm going to stick to the time as we did not do last week. My plan is to be done talking at you at 1:30, and then that way we can go into discussion from there. So we're going to focus on the numbers you must hit. We're going to break it down to the economic model, and then we're going to do a little bit extra work after that if we have time that gets into the number of phone calls and kind of get our mind around that. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen. This is a very basic way of doing the economic model. I didn't want to send you any confusing spreadsheets or anything like that. I wanted to put it on a basic piece of paper. I actually was going to do a whiteboard on my iPad, but I left the cord. So we're going to do it on a Word document. So we're going to stay as basic as possible so you guys will get it done. So I'm going to bring up right now, you should just see a basic Word document with different lines starting with income goal. Okay, so if you have a piece of paper in front of you, this is 101 how to do it. This is going to be about a 7-minute business plan for you. Okay, so who wants to play guinea pig on this one? Who has their income goal and wants me to use that as the example? If you're comfortable doing it. If not, I can use a dummy one.
Samantha's not gonna recommend me based on our last interaction.
That's good. All right, so I heard a couple people say, I saw Nancy raise her hand, so we'll go with that. So Nancy, what is your income goal for the next 12 months?
I said 80,000 because I'm going to be new there and I'm not trying to.
Nancy, it's a one number answer.
80,000. 80,000.
Now listen, here's why I'm stopping you. And this is, I did not practice this with Nancy, but she gave a great example of something that I want to encourage no one to do, which is qualify your answer. You do not have to qualify your answer. If it's 80,000 because you want it to be 80,000, it's 80,000. It's 80,000. Right. And so there's no reason to have to justify it or anything like that. This is your goal and we are Katie bar on the door and we are helping you hit your goal. So don't feel the need to justify it. All right. So we're going to go with 80,000. And so if you know your goal, write it down at 80,000. We're going to put Nancy's in here, 80,000. Now, what my assumption is that Nancy has decided this is the goal that she needs. Okay, now we don't get bogged down in the details for the exercise, but these are the goals that this is the money she'll pull out of her real estate business that will allow her to fund her life, going through the lifestyle. If you just quick refresh the lid, lifestyle, investments, and debt, right? So for this exercise, that $80,000 will pay for Nancy's lifestyle, right? Which is going to be her bills, her cost of living, any trips that she wants to take, any projects around the house. It'll allow her to put money into investment and it'll allow her to pay off a certain number of debts. She came up with that exercise. Okay. Now, the next thing that you need to do, and this is going to be individual for all of you, and if you don't know, I'll give you the number, but the next one is your GCI per transaction. Basically what it means is how much money on average do you make per transaction? And GCI is gross. So that means what is on the settlement statement, not what you get from Keller Williams, not what you get from what is the gross number on the settlement statement. If you know, then the only way you'll know is if you know your average price point from your sales and your average commission from your sales. And if you're new, you don't know, so don't worry about it, right? If you know, you can put that number in here. If you don't know, to be conservative, I would put $7,500. Okay.
Joseph, in the part where you said don't put blah, 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 on my end, you kind of blurbed out. I don't know if everyone's hearing what I'm hearing. So
Okay.
you want to repeat that?
Yeah. So gross commission income is basically the income that is on the closing statement. So it does not include, it does include everything that's backed in there, all your splits to your broker, your splits to your team, your expenses. So don't worry about that right now, right? That's your gross commission income is the money you take from that's on the settlement statement. Okay. Now the example I used for 7,500 is low. Okay. And I do that for two reasons. One, I'd rather you shoot low for the 7,500, build your business plan on that, and the average actually be higher, because then you could either choose to work the same amount of time for more money or less time for the same money. You get to make the decision, right? But I also don't want you to go, I mean, the average price in Charleston right now is in the 350s. Okay, so 3 to 350 at 3% is anywhere from $9,000 to $10,000, right? So it could be higher. Now, we are also understanding that over the last 12 months in our market center, we've seen an average per side commission of 2.6%. So we're seeing a compression in the percentages of commissions. So we're going to build all of that in. If you're glazing over because of the percentages and the maths, don't worry, come back. We'll get you back. That's why we got rid of them for the economic model. We just went to that straight flat number. Okay. So you're going to take your total income, which for the example, we have the 80,000, where they're going to have the GCI per transaction, which is 7,500. Again, 7,500 is roughly about 250,000 average sales price at 3%. Okay. Now, in order to find out from how many transactions we need to hit that 80,000, how do you think you get the number of transactions in the next line if you're doing this exercise for yourself?
Divide the income goal by the GCI.
Correct. So in this exercise, we're going to take the 80,000 and we're going to divide it by 7,500 and get what?
Don't you have to add in the cap and all
Nope.
that? Nope.
Cap is all going to feed is okay. Well, yes, we do. So you're saying the net income from that? Yes, we do. All right. So here's what we're going to do.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
That's important.
So your net is going to be 80. So that means your GCI goal. Anybody have an idea of how to build that in? As it relates to the model. Don't just do the blank number. As it relates to the model.
Your expenses,
Correct?
your cost of sale.
Okay. So as an individual agent, okay, which most people on here are, as an individual agent, you can expect to get about a 60. I'm going to be conservative again. It could be closer to 65, but you could get about a 60% profit margin on your real estate business. Okay. So I'm just going to put your GCI goal, and in parentheses, I'm going to put based on a 60% margin. So how do I get my GCI goal if I want to net 80?
Times 80 times 0.60.
80 divided by 0.60.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so 80
I better
divided by 0.60. No, you're good. So who's got a calculator? Do 80 divided by 0.6.
Welcome to my world, Camille. I always throw out math, and Rain Man over there always corrects me. He's a whiz.
That's 133,000, 133.
Okay, 133.
Yeah.
All right, so now, thank you for the catch. So now we know that if I want to net 80,000, I need to gross 133,000. Now, let's break script for a second, because some of you are having a heart attack because you're saying, well, gosh, does that mean she has to spend $50,000? Not necessarily. However, we're going to build in the model, our cost of sale, right? Our expenses, right? And that's
Yeah.
going to be roughly that 40%. Now, if you're building a team, you're actually basing it on a 40% margin, not a 60%. So you'd actually have to do closer to 150, 160%, or 160,000.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Celeste, yes.
Does that include taxes and then
No.
commission split?
No, the split, yes. Taxes, no.
Okay.
Yeah. Commission splits, yes. Taxes, no. So if you wanted to build in your taxes on the 80, you'd have to do so prior to that.
Okay.
All right, so go back to exercise. Now we have our GCI goal of 133, and we're going to divide the 133 by 7,500 to get the number of transactions. Who's my calculator? Who's got the 133 divided by 7,500?
It's about 18.
Okay, about 18. So with me so far, it means you have to have 18 transactions with an average GCI of 7,500 to do 133 in GCI to net 80. Everybody with me so far?
Mhm.
Okay, so now we're going to focus on the conversions, right? Now we've got to where we need to go back to the 3 things from the economic model. Focus on the know what the numbers you need to know. Know the numbers you need to hit. Focus on conversions. Focus on appointments. So there's 2 conversion rates we're going to focus on. The first one is the conversion rate from a client going to closing. So once they've signed with you, and I've combined listing and buyer side for this exercise, right? Because we want to do a fast one for you to be able to hit the ground running with your economic model. So I've combined the 2 sides, but there's a conversion rate of once you sign a client, a listing or a buyer, to that client closing. And I want to encourage everyone to use what we know the average from the new MREA, not a guess. What is the average from the MREA of when you sign a client that they're going to go to closing?
Buyer side or seller side?
Either one.
80%.
Who else? I heard another number in there. I heard 80 from Camille.
75 from me.
75 from Lynn. So it's 75.
It is.
Almost, yeah, the new number now. Camille's looking at the old number. The old number was 80% on the buyer side, 65% on the seller side. The new numbers, and again, these are based on studies like we talked about last week. This is written by studying agents that are succeeding. The new number is 75% for both buyer and seller side. So you're going to use 75% as your number, as your conversion rate for the number of clients you get that turn into actual closings. So if I need 18 closings and I have a conversion rate of 75%, how many clients do I need to get in order to close 75% to hit 18? I'm going to take 18, divide it by 0.75, and I'm going to get
24.
24. So does everyone agree so far for this exercise, and your exercise may be different, if Nancy takes 24 new clients that she gets signed, she's going to close 75% of them and net $80,000. All right. So conversion rate, the second conversion rate we need to focus on is the conversion rate of appointments held to taking a client. Again, if you don't know, and the only way I would say you can use your own is if you've had 25 or more sales in the last 18 months and you've tracked them. If you haven't, then use the average. And then when we do the business plan next year and you've hit your 25 sales, you can use yours. But now we'll use the MREAs. Does anybody know what the conversion rate is from appointments to new clients? They made this one real easy for us.
Yeah, it was 80 and 70.
Yeah,
80 on the seller side and 70 on the buyer side.
Yep. So it is now 75% on both. So if you want to take 24 clients and you've got a 75% conversion rate, how many appointments do you need to go on to take 24 clients?
32.
32. 32. All right. So for this exercise,
Is that a year?
Nancy needs to go on 32 appointments to take
year?
20. Huh?
A year?
Yeah, this is a year. Okay, so 32 appointments to take 24 clients to close 18 to net 80,000 in the next 12 months. Questions so far? Yes. Who did? Yes. Lauren.
Yeah, when you say appointment, is this like what qualifies as an appointment? A specific listing appointment and like a buyer's appointment where you're trying to get buyer's agency or a listing agreement, right?
Correct. Good
Okay.
clarification. So this is an appointment with a buyer or seller lead in order to enter you for the job. This doesn't count your coffee appointments with your sphere, with your past clients, or anything like that. This is a meeting with a client. Okay. What else? What other questions do you have? Does it seem too easy? I mean, honestly, is anybody surprised? Who has a different number, by the way? Who had a different income number than Nancy? Okay, and that wants to share.
Oh.
All right, Stella, what did you have for an income number?
So I had 300,000.
Okay, so when you did the same math, how many appointments did you need to go on?
Well, I was in the middle. I've got my number of clients needed at 89. So, and I was trying to do the next step. So tell me again how to do that.
So take 89 divided by 0.75.
Okay, so that is 89 divided by 0.75, 118.6, so 119.
Okay, so here's the beauty of real estate is you get to go in. I'm looking something up really quickly here. I thought I had an easily access calculator, but I clearly do not. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna double check on something really quickly. 300.
I'm putting in the chat a little bit. I'm just like doing the math. This always is what changes my whole perspective. And I hope I'm probably jumping the gun, but Joseph knows me well.
You are. So hold on one second. Because I know where you're going, and that is where we want to go on this. So now what you get to do now, we've got 32 appointments, so we've got 120 appointments. Who else has a different appointment number? All right, Lauren, how many appointments do you need to go on?
I only need to go on 40 appointments, which is really making me be like, I can make more money. I'm already going on more than 3 appointments a month. So it's kind of encouraging.
That is good. Now here's what Lauren said that we all need to stay. What was the key point in Lauren's statement?
That it's achievable.
Correct. And there was something else that she said in there that I want everyone to point to notice.
Can make more money?
Yeah, but everybody's overthinking it, but it's also not that obvious. She said 3 appointments a month.
Yeah.
When you say 3 appointments a month, that assumes what for a year?
36.
Every month.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right? Every month. It's easy to go on 3 appointments a month once. And then we get sidetracked. And the reason I say this is it's very easy to get sidetracked from 3 appointments a month as well. Right? So that's why it's so important to do what Lynn's doing in the chat box, which is break those down. Now, can we all be honest and say there's no such thing as a perfect month or a perfect week in real estate?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
instead of doing divide by 12, why don't you take your appointment number and divide it by 10? Or maybe divide it by 9 and see what it would take to get it in 9 months versus 12.
Well, you could also do like 119. I'm looking at Stella's divided by 52. And then how many weeks are in a year?
Yeah.
52.
That comes to almost 3, fewer than 3, but let's say 3 a week. So then if you know you're taking 6 weeks of vacation over the course of the year, then subtract 6 from 52. Exactly. And then you can break this down by week. That might be too complicated, but it was the same thing. If you like bad month or good month, if you already know you have a vacation planned, then you might want to start with the week process and then back the weeks back into the month.
Yeah. So, and that's a perfect segue and kind of to wrap the economic model up is what we do is we go, here's what I recommend that you do. And this isn't in any of the books. So make sure that you write it down. I just have found that for the most part as agents, there's not even such thing as 3/4 of a perfect year. Right. So let alone an entire perfect. So I say divide by 40. Okay. So let's go back to Lauren's number. Okay. So Lauren, you said your number was 40, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to take 40 and divide it by 40, which means what?
1.
1.
1, right? So would everyone agree that if Lauren went on 1 appointment a week, every week for 40 weeks, she would hit her income goal, whatever it was? Okay, how many weeks are in a year? Lynn just went through it.
52.
52. So what happens to the other 12 weeks for Lauren?
Vacation.
Which 100%,
Holidays.
if you nail 40 once a week, one a week for 40 weeks, and you take the 3 months off, you've earned it. Where does it really go though?
To bad weeks.
Vacation, bad weeks, kids, COVID, classes, right? Are there going to be weeks that she doesn't hit one? Of course. And now, does she need to make it up and go in two the following week? Of course. And is there a possibility she'll get a little behind? Of course. That's you've buffered in a 25% margin.
Or there's
Right.
clients that don't show up for their appointment, like I had happen on Tuesday.
Right. And understand, good point. And that 75% takes care of those. Those are all factored in there. Right.
Oh, even the appointments that don't.
Well, the appointments that don't show obviously wouldn't count as it, so you'd have to bring it back up. So yes, but the ones that then do show and don't turn into appointments, that 75% will factor that in. Okay. So last part of this question so far, everybody with me so far? Does everybody have their number of appointments they need to go on? That is the most important thing. Okay. If you don't, I'm seeing everybody shake their head yes. If you don't, and you just don't want to say anything, then shoot me an email or let me know. It just means you probably if you got lost in the math and you're afraid to ask, you shouldn't be. However, I totally understand that you may be. So don't sweat that. All right. Let's see, do I want to go? Yeah, I'm gonna wrap up with the last one. So the last part. So I'm gonna jump back to this piece of paper just so you can take a look at it. Now in bold, which a lot of you have not been through, in bold we do this thing called the efficiency exercise, which basically means we count over the 6 weeks of the first part of bold how many contacts we've made, and then we count how many appointments we've gone on, and we come up with a ratio called the efficiency ratio. And the efficiency ratio says an agent needs to make X number of contacts in order to go on one appointment. Okay, does everybody understand sorry, a fly it's a ladybug. Anyway, everybody understand the math. It's you need to make X number of contacts, meaning a conversation, two-way conversation, to go on one appointment. Okay, so that's the ratio that we want. On average, and if you know the answer right away, don't shout it out yet. On average, how many contacts do you think an agent needs to make in order to go on one valid appointment? Just take a stab at it if you don't know.
25.
Okay, we got
20.
25 from Lynn.
20.
Got 20 from Camille.
15.
I got 15. Anybody want to go the other way?
I thought it was like 40.
50.
All right. Stella says 40 and Lynn comes back in 50. All right. So
Because it's a valid client.
no, these are just contacts in general that will then turn into a valid appointment.
Contacts being a live phone call about real estate.
It
Or
could be a two-way
text.
conversation. It could be a text back and forth too, but yes.
Two-way. Okay.
5.
Okay. So here we go. Take a deep breath because some of you aren't going to like it. It's 50 to 1.
Oh.
Now calm down. This isn't right. This isn't wrong. This is just the math. The best of the best are 25 to 1 at their best day. And the lowest efficient are 100 to 1 on other days. This isn't right or wrong. Don't fight the math. It is what it is. Here are a couple ahas you can take from this that will make lead generation so much easier. Number one, if you call 50 people and your ratio is only one of those is going to meet with you, why do the other 49 not going to talk to you about buying or selling a real estate? What's the number one answer when you call someone that they're not going to buy or sell real estate with you?
You
They're not
didn't
ready?
ask for the business.
Okay, I heard you didn't ask for the business. Aniqua, what'd you say?
I said they're not ready.
They're not ready. That's the number one answer. The number one reason people are not buying and selling real estate from you when you talk to them is because they're not buying or selling real estate. Right?
But they will be one day.
They will be one day, which is why you continue to have the conversation. Right?
Well,
Now,
So why we teach client, I guess the word is client, I'm drawing a blank, but client A, B, and C, we are
Right.
supposed to create line items for the not in the next 60 days people, because your real estate relationship is the business. It's not
Right.
necessarily the transactions.
right. But the point of this too, and there are many different reasons. Now, what Camille said is also accurate, right? If you go out and you talk to 50 FSBOs and only one decides to meet with you, you're not saying the right thing. right? Because those are 50 people that want to sell their house. And so it should be more than 50 to 1. If you go out and you cold call a neighborhood and you don't even know the people at all, it's going to be way more than 50 to 1. The point is not 49 rejections. It's not 49 people hanging up on you. It's 49 people that if they're not going to give you business or meet with you about business, you're going to strengthen the relationship or add them to your MET group, which makes it a success, right? You're going to add them to the people that you know to build relationships for them. And that's the whole point of that. So that being said, if Lauren needs to go on 1 appointment a week, how many contacts during that week does she need to make? 50 in the week. That's 10 a day. By the way, does that mean Lauren's going to have days during the week where she makes a bunch of phone calls and she's not going to get an appointment? Yes. Right? Don't set yourself up for disappointment. It happens, right? The best of the best are lead generating every day, and not every day they're setting an appointment. That doesn't mean it's a failure. That just means that they need to go through the 49 to get to the 1.
Well, I'll add this, if I may, as we transition and start over. Are you kind of finished, Joseph?
Yeah, that was my kind of the last part on that. I just want to make sure. And well, before we transition, then really quickly, did I miss anything? Does anyone have a question on the math, or does anyone not have that? The most important number is how many appointments do you need to go on in the next 12 months to hit your financial goal?
Do this. Everybody put their finger up and say, if you've got it, do a thumbs up or something so he knows you're done. Okay. Some
All
people.
right. Yeah. So, okay. Well, we'll reach out if you're okay.
Aniqua.
I was gonna say I got all the way to that point. I know I need 22 transactions. I need 29 clients. And what do I need to do to get the 75%? Do I need to do the 29 times 0.75?
29 divided by 0.75, and that'll give you the number of appointments. Perfect.
Okay, so that.
Who else didn't put their finger up? Okay, looks like everybody's got it. That's key.
Yeah, okay. All right. So that's great. That's amazing. Did the economic model. I'm like, huh?
Sorry, I noticed Jeremiah didn't, but I don't think he's been in a place to be able to do the math, but you might already have your number. That was the only person I didn't see. Okay, sorry, Joseph, go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, perfect. All right, so now we're going to segue into the accountability side, which means we're going to follow up from last week. For those of you who are coming back, if you weren't here last week, that's fine. What we're going to do though is we're going to set some accountability and some goals for you to hit in the next week. Now, Vince is normally part of this and will help. Vince closed on his house, was supposed to be doing this from his house, and the internet went kaput. So
oh no.
Yeah, so I said, welcome to home ownership, Vince.
Welcome.
He's also in the middle of ripping up tile floors, which I've seen the video, and Trenton's helping him, his agent. Don't let that set a standard of what you should be doing as an agent.
Exactly.
All right, so Lynn, do you want to take over? Do you want to take it from here as far from the accountability?
I do.
Okay.
And I was going to add this about what I was just saying. Oh, so back to those contacts. So Maui and I had a conversation. She called me this week, which is what's supposed to start happening with the CDP, is when you have questions or you want to run some things by, you're supposed to do that, meaning that's what we're here for. So I'm glad she took me up on that. So did Jeremiah. He called me. Nancy and I talked as well at last weekend. So y'all keep doing that. That's the point of this. But my point is Maui and I were talking about the open house, and back to Joseph's contact discussion. What y'all have to remember is, like what I said to her, is an open house does not mean you're going to get a specific client signed and closing in 30 days. An open house begins a conversation to build the rapport. And let's say you met 5 people at the open house, maybe 2 of them will become someone you can actually build rapport with. There could be 3 out of those 5 who are never going to respond to you. But as long as you set the correct expectations, that's the way. So if you were to do 2 open houses a week and on the weekends and talked to 10 people or got 10 people's information to then follow up with that 2-way, then you're doing it right. Now, open houses might not be the way to go, but I just think it's important that the 2-way conversation is key. But Real estate is about starting a conversation and following through all year, not getting someone closed within 30 days of starting the conversation. So I don't want the eagerness, so to speak, or the desperation, which we sometimes feel, to drive the bus on that. It's a long game here. And so I just want you to make sure we focus on that. Okay. And is everybody hearing me and seeing me okay? I'm trying to figure out, I want to move my, I feel like, there we go. I moved to
No,
the
you
grid.
look great.
Whoop, whoop. Now I moved it to grid, so now I can see everybody. I realized I had the wrong thing. Okay. So like Joseph was saying, now the second half is going to be more like hard hitting, accountability in the beginning, because I want to knock that out first. And then what we have left over is to then have discussions and mastermind. So what I did after last week, if y'all remember, I know some of you were here and some of you weren't. Let me tell you who's rocks I got from them. I'm going to list your names really quickly so that everyone else who's on the call just understand, if you were here last Friday and didn't send them to me, it's why your name isn't being called. However, I am going to get them from you today if you so desire to be held accountable next week. Okay, so here are the people I got information from: Lauren, Ed, Celeste, Stella, Nancy, Jenna, Maui, and Anisha. Is there anyone I missed who did send me your rocks and I didn't copy and paste them? Okay. So what's happening is every Friday, we're going over what we finished talking about with Joseph. It's not always exactly what we talk about, but what I then transition us into is, I think three is an easy, is a manageable number of items to say between Fridays and Friday, or Friday and Friday. I'm going to focus on these three things. So what I had them do last Friday, because it's easier sometimes than me trying to write it down while you're talking, is get it from you, have you, read them out to me, and then email them to me. Last week, what I did is I responded to every person because I needed them to drill down even further. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to control the conversation and read out to each person what I sent back to you. And then I want you to answer me. Here, basically the set of questions we're going to have. What was your goal? I'm going to read those out. How did you do? You're either going to say yes or no on whether or not you completed them. How do you feel about that? And I'm going to keep these as brief as possible, meaning I want to hear your thoughts, but for the purpose of getting everyone time, I might say keep it under 15 seconds, and then based on how you did, what do we need to adjust for next week? So keep in mind, if you didn't hit one of the goals you gave me or you weren't satisfied with it, then we keep that on your 3 rocks for the following week, because then you need to improve and we're going to keep making you better. So it isn't like one and done, you either did or you didn't. It's, was that a realistic goal? Was it manageable? And if not, let's try it again this week with a couple new tactics. Okay. Everybody with me? All right, Lauren, we're going to start with yours. What you had said to me, or what you'd written me. First one was talk to or connect with 10 agents next week that could be potential referral partners. And I added and enter those into command. Number 2 was social media. You wanted to schedule on Monday for the whole week, 1 post per day, 3 stories, blah, blah, blah. And then I added, do you want to create a system, like you have a certain system on every day since you're trying to do that? So for me, the focus should be what's your system going to be, and then see if you can execute the system. Smart plans. You wanted to set up a smart plan for 4 database tags: Mets, buyers, sellers, and referrals. And I said, how my add-on, and the reason I'm reading to y'all these add-ons is so you can hear me go deeper so that y'all can start to learn how to do that. So how much time per day did you want to focus on this activity, and then time block it? Okay. So Lauren, did you connect with 10 agents and did you enter them into command?
I have a theme going on here. Your add-ons were fantastic. That's the part I missed on most of them, though, was the add-on. So I connected with 9 agents. I have one call at 3 o'clock today because that's when she was available.
Oh, what you're saying is you saw my add-ons, you just didn't get a chance to execute them.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I saw the add-ons. Yes. I just like, I got most of them into Command. I talked to 2 people today, so I want to like add notes to Command. But I mean, I got about 90% of them.
Okay, so you met, so it sounds like you connected, you said 9 agents?
Yeah, I have another call. By Connect, I wanted to actually have like a 20-minute conversation with them on the phone.
Okay.
So there is one that I'm talking to in about an hour.
So in all actuality, you hit your 10 at the end of the week.
Yeah.
Nancy, you're raising your hand.
Yeah, Lauren, why do you want to talk to the agents to get information from them, to get knowledge? I'm just curious.
So these are agents that are not in the Charleston market, that are in other markets. I did research to make sure these markets are ones where people are like, they live there and they're moving to Charleston. So I might be able to get referrals that way.
Okay, quick question. Great. I love your question, Nancy. I'm glad that I called on you. Moving forward, we're going to get through accountability first. Write your question down because that's a great question, but I want to hit everyone's accountability and then have you ask in the second 15, if that's okay. All right, social media, Lauren, did you knock those out? Did you do what you were supposed to do on that?
I did. I didn't create a system, and I like that idea. This week, I'm going to try to actually make that system today so it's done. Last week, I pushed that into, I'll do that over the weekend or Monday, and it didn't happen. And I think a system like that would be better.
You posted it, but you didn't create a system. So it's
I got all the posts done, but it was more of like, I forgot to post. I got to post something. And I love your idea of having a system for what's actually there every day. And I think that would create a lot of consistency.
It would create consistency. You're not going to panic. And then if you ever hire someone to help you, you hand off the system and you're not having to create the wheel. All right. Third one, smart plan. Did you hit that?
No, I have 3 smart plans. I don't have a referral smart plan, and I've got to get all of them on it. So they're there, but it doesn't do much good when they're not actually attached to the smart plan.
Okay. Did you time block time to do that?
No.
Okay. Now I'm going to move forward to the next person, but before we go off of you, I'd like to know what your number of appointments were after Joseph's exercise.
Okay.
Right
now?
Yeah.
My number of appointments after the exercise was 4 a month or 1 a week.
Okay. Okay, Ed. Oh, Ed's not on the call. Okay, Celeste. Here we have for Celeste. This is what her 3 were. She wanted to complete the buyer presentation packet. And then someone's making, if you don't mind, if you can mute yourself, there's some feedback. She wanted to complete buyer presentation packet. I plus that to say, maybe have a list of what your packet entails so you can actually check the items off as you do them. Second one, she wanted to doing the database week 1, touching contacts for A, W, and N, and setting up weekly calendars moving forward. I again plussed it with maybe time block your calendar on how much time per day you want to do this to see if keeping to that calendar time block was easy or struggle. Number 3 was she wanted to follow up with she had sent recent handwritten cards. She wanted to follow up on those. And she has sent out 10 cards in total. So I said to plus that she needed to identify how she wanted to follow up. Is it a call? Is it an email? We need more specifics. And then to track those and add notes to command and time block for those follow-up. So Celeste, how did you do?
For the buyer packet, and I kind of did the same thing. I took in what you said, but I didn't, send a response back to you.
What you were supposed to do. It was supposed you to take and go.
Good. And the buyer packet, you were correct. I could have listed out 35 things and still not been done with it. So it's morphed in my mind. I have a draft and I've been working on it. something a lot larger of a magnitude. So that's going to roll over into this next week too. And still working on it and narrowing that, or kind of trying to finish it up. Contacts. I did time block for this. AW, I'm almost done with ends. I have about 10 folks left. I time blocked 7 hours total for this throughout the week. That was not enough time. I had a ton of A's, and I know a ton of people named William. So, I mean, they just never ended. So, no, I did not block enough time for that. That was a rather ambitious goal. And I need to time block to follow up with the handwritten cards. I've decided that I was going to start by emailing them since they're all professional contacts. But with my, I guess, incorrect time block with the doing the database, I definitely needed more time for that. So that went into the time block that I had for those folks.
Okay. Can I say one thing really quickly?
Yes.
It's
Quickly.
not incorrect time block. The fact that you time blocked and you now know how to change it, it's actually knocked it out of the park time block. Like that's exactly why you do it. So absolutely celebrate that success because now you know, hey, I didn't allow enough time. Is it realistic to add more time or do I need to readjust how long the project will take? So great job on doing that. Absolutely.
Or readjust. I only do 2 initials a week. You had 3.
Yeah.
So you might say, I can only do 2 initials in my 7 hours. And then you stick with the time block, you just minimize the goal.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
2 initials versus 3.
Yeah.
Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to circle back around with you guys and I'm going to get your updated goals for next week, but tell me your number of appointments you need to hit after Joseph's exercise.
Annually 28. So what's that about?
4 a month, right?
That's 4 a month?
Joseph, is that the right math? 28 divided by, no.
It's like 1
divided by 12. That's right.
Yeah.
See, I told y'all. Okay. And I'm actually pretty good in math. That's kind of embarrassing. Okay. All right, we're going to come back. All right, Stella. Here were Stella's. She wanted to get 500 people into METs, buyer leads, and seller leads, like take her current database and put them into the categories. I plussed it with, do you want to start with a letter of the alphabet so you know where to start and end each day? I know I can get bogged down and forget kind of where I was. That was the point of that. She wanted to have one open house scheduled by this weekend. So yeah, this weekend, starting tomorrow and Sunday. I said, which day? Then once you identify the day, you can start working on the 7th level open house, because if we learn in it, what we learn in Ignite, which some people, have different opinions, but I'm going to go with the Ignite teaching. You really aren't as successful if you can't do a 7th level open house. That means you have to identify it before like Wednesday. So just a thought. Then 3rd one was she wanted to get the social media post scheduled 1 month out, do Facebook, Instagram live on Tuesday and Thursday weekly. So I said back to kind of this, the other one who had the social media, is there a theme you want to set down on paper to these postings? And did you want a system? All right. So Stella, let us know how you did on all of them. Uh-oh, you're muted.
I'm over here. Okay, as far as number 1, getting 500 people, I actually got 600 people.
Woo!
I had time blocked it for doing it Monday morning, and I just made myself, even though I wanted to quit at 500, make myself keep going. So I did that, and I'm going to do that again next Monday, and just so I can keep moving forward. I was not able to.
Hold on. Sorry, back up. You had 500 as your goal. You got 600 though. Did you track how many you did a day?
No, I did them all on Monday. I sat down and made myself do them all on Monday.
Is that a sustainable goal? Think about that. Go to
because it's very easy in Command because you can bulk tag people.
Okay. That was good because I don't want you to burn out and be like, I hate Mondays now,
It went so fast that that's why I made myself do the extra 100 because it was just 10 more minutes.
Okay, sorry, go to next one.
Number 2, I did not get an open house scheduled because as soon as I contact people, they're under contract. And
I
so
wondered
I
about
feel
that.
like this needs to be something that I would like to move forward with and try my hardest to have happen. But maybe I need to not, it used to be one of my big rocks for how I was going to get income in the next year. And I might need to be refocusing on how to draw in some other way of having a big rock. Because I think this is going to continue to be a challenge in the market we have right now.
All right, I have some ideas on that, but I think that's astute of you to observe and kind of adjust. All right, go number 3.
I will say I have told the people that I went on listing appointments with that they have to have an open house. So that was part of my listing thing. So anyway, and then as far as my social media, I did get it scheduled out a month. I did my Facebook and Instagram live on Tuesday. I shifted my Thursday to today because I went to the dermatologist yesterday and my face looked like a red tomato. So that didn't happen. But I also took 100 extra pictures while my children were at their dentist appointments downtown. So I've got my stuff ready to schedule for next month too.
Okay, so your goal is to schedule it a month out.
Mm-hmm.
You've got that done. When does
Set
that
it and forget it.
When does that month wrap up that you have to set it again? Is that in your calendar? Don't answer when. Is it in your calendar that you have to do this again in the next couple weeks?
It is not, but it should be.
Add that as something because you need to be able to then get ahead of it every month. Okay.
Well, at this point, what I want to do is now that I've got a month out, just do a rolling week. So that I'm always a month ahead, but I'm only doing the next week. So next week I will start doing a month from now's week.
All right, write that down because that might be your next rock and we'll talk about it. So what were your number of appointments after Joseph's exercise?
I have to go on 120 appointments, which is 10 a month, which I will adjust for when I look at the months.
You will what?
I need to go in and divide out the months, like in case I don't take 2 weeks off or whatever. I need to do that.
But for now, it's 10 a month. We'll
10 a
adjust
month.
that maybe next week. Okay. Nancy, you wanted to put into command my limited Charleston contacts. I plus that to, is there a number that you can write down? And she responded, and I just have this because I do, 3. So she was going to put 3 commands. She was going to put 3 contacts, I guess, a day into her command. We'll develop that. All right. She wanted to develop a letter to her existing contacts. And I said, do you want to have that letter finished and ready to go or sent out? Qualify it. She wrote back, written and sent. She wanted to keep reading MREA. I said, what pages or chapters specifically? And she said up to page 106. So yours are going to be quick. Did you put 3 Charleston contacts in this week? Was it this week or a day?
No, I know 3 people down there that are not realtors, so I put in my 3.
Okay. Did you get the letters written and sent out?
I did.
Good job. And then did you read up to page 106?
I did not. So
Okay.
I read up to like 80. So yeah, I did not.
All right, that's okay. Then what we need to do you know how much time you spent reading every day? Did you break it up per day?
No, I probably
Okay.
should have done that. Yes.
There's no,
Right.
no,
Yes.
I didn't.
No, I did not time block that. I did that when I was not doing other stuff. So
All right, and how many appointments do you need after Joseph's exercise?
32.
A year?
32 a year, so that'd be 3 a month.
All right.
Which
I'm
is
just doing it by month so that it's easy for
Great.
me to check in with y'all every week.
perfect.
Jenna, I don't think Jenna's on this call. Okay.
Do you want me to do my next ones or?
Nope, not yet.
No, not yet. Gotcha.
Maui, are you still on the call? Yeah, there you are. All right. You were
Okay.
going to design and order business cards. I didn't really need to qualify that because that's just a press and go. You wanted to go to a network event, meet and talk with 3 real estate people. And then I plussed it with, you need to figure out a system on how to follow up with them. So they don't just, you meet them and then never talk to them again, entering them into command, whatever. And then she wanted to enter contacts she has scattered everywhere and enter them into command. And I said, maybe there's a per day that you need to time block of how you do that. So you get in the habit of entering new people after you meet them versus 25 people after 2 weeks, right? And then she wanted to, Oh, that's right. Never mind. Sorry. So Maui, did you design and order your business cards?
Yes,
Are they on the way?
I already got them.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Did you network and meet with people and talk about real estate, at least 3?
I did. I guess I have a hard time collecting their information. I spoke to them about real estate because it came up, and I gave them my business card, but I didn't get their information, and that's what I struggle with.
All right. So what Maui and I talked about, and I want to clarify this for the group, she was at a volunteer setting in her church with COVID vaccinations. And so in my opinion, what I said to her is, do not be JoJo the salesman. That's not the appropriate atmosphere. Be somewhere where you are enjoying yourself, you're talking to people and asking them about themselves, showing your heart of volunteer, wanting to come alongside people who might be scared of COVID and just be a reassurance. And then through being herself, they would begin talking about things, and then they will eventually ask her what she does for a living. So that is a longer game than if you were, let's say, go to a business networking coffee at 9 a.m. So for you to have gotten people's information about real estate could have been a little too aggressive and not necessarily appropriate. So understand also, people, we're not robots. We are hearts and real estate agents and moms and dads and sisters and everything, and churchgoers or whatever. So what I want to say is, you didn't get their contact information. That would have been a struggle. It'd have been weird if it hadn't been. So I'm kind of glad, hopefully you went with what we talked about, which was your instincts to just get to know people, love on them, and then they'll eventually remember you when it's time to trust you with something big on them. Okay. So that specific action item wouldn't apply in this networking group. Sorry, this networking event. However, it might on another one. So hopefully everybody understands what I'm saying. All right. And then the third one, did you enter your contacts that you had scattered everywhere into command?
Yes.
Okay. So that means you have no more to enter, or you have a system of entering. Maui?
I have no more to enter.
Okay, perfect. So you completed that goal. Fantastic. All right. How many appointments do you need to hit after doing Joseph's exercise?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. Can you hear me?
You're kind of coming in and out, but I'm not sure if that's you or me.
I was saying, what is the number of appointments you need after Joseph's exercise?
I have 23.
A year, I mean? So that's right around 2 a month. Okay, perfect. Anisha? I don't think she's on this. Wait a minute. Anisha McCants? Okay. Aniqua, when did I meet you? Was it the orientation?
Hi, I just met you Monday. I haven't gone to orientation. I'm gonna do orientation on Monday with Kristen.
Got it. I was like, I know I met you, and I hope I didn't write your name wrong. No, Anisha is a different person. That's right.
No, my last name is Bailey.
I'm now picturing her face. I remember who she is. She's just not on the call. Okay. So we have a few. All right. So that's it. That was everyone who sent me. I got everyone, right? I think so. Now, for the essence of time, because this is supposed to wrap up at 2 o'clock. How does everyone, let's just chat for a minute. I feel like what I'd like everyone to do, now let me just finish and then I'll let y'all chat. And I'm good going a few minutes after 2 if you guys are. My goal isn't to make it that lengthy every time. I just feel in the beginning, I want us to kind of hear the give and take. So you also understand how I drill down with everyone else. So that when you send me your new rocks for the following week, you have a better idea of how to qualify some of what you said. What I think is the recurring theme is that everyone set your goals, which is awesome. Everybody hit the activities to meet your goals, which is awesome. And everyone then realized where they needed to adjust some of those goals because their activities were a little bit either took more time than they thought, so they couldn't get everybody entered, or that life got in the way. So where they thought they had a certain amount of time, they ran out. And then also things like houses going under contract. in my opinion, you know, Stella, maybe you start like I was thinking, maybe there's a conversation where you ask the seller's permission. If you go under contract, could we still hold it open in order to make sure you don't want any backup offers? Is there a new conversation to make it more appealing, even though they quote unquote snagged their buyer? Because a lot of buyers are also terminating because they're going under contract too fast.
Yeah.
So create a new script. Now, of course, everyone reach out to me between now and next Friday if you want to keep talking. But create a new script with them that's a whole new plan of how to stick to an open house. It's like market of the moment. Like we had short sales for a while. We learned new scripts. I mean, short sales are still around. Open houses might now become, if your buyer were to flake out, do you want to have an open house still and possibly secure a couple more buyers I can bring on that immediate? So let's talk about new scripts, maybe one-on-one if you needed that. Joseph has to scoot, but thank you, Joseph. You did an awesome job. I'm gonna keep chatting with everyone as long as they won't for a few minutes longer, and have a good day.
Great. Thank you so much. Good job, guys. Great job on all the stuff that you've done.
So instead of everybody listing it, now we've gotten into the habit. You understand what I'm saying and doing, right? So now I think the smarter thing is to just email me your 3 new rocks. You might what's the word? Build on what we already emailed this past week. And then I'll just adjust and send you my thoughts back. I think that's better because as this group might grow, I want us to be able to chat. So I'm going to go through quickly, 15 seconds, as fast as possible. If you'll bear with me, Lauren, do you feel good? And what can you do to adjust next week to do something more adjusted from what you did last week? I don't want to say better or anything because you did amazing. What can you adjust for next week?
Yeah, I feel really good about it, but this was super helpful because I was trapped in if everything's important, nothing's important kind of overwhelmed state. So this really helped me narrow things down. It also helped me realize that while I have social media as my #1 lead gen source, because it was for the last 3 years that I was in real estate in Missouri before I moved here. And I have not been doing it at a high level where I thought I was. And then when I narrowed it down to specific goals, like you had me do this time, I was like, wow, I'm not doing this at a high level like I used to be doing. Okay. So now I need to adjust that and be like, okay, it's all right to spend more time on this because, you know, it worked before, it can work again, but I've got to kind of take it up a notch.
Okay, perfect. Celeste, 15 seconds. How do you feel and how do you think you're going to adjust?
I feel good about this week. I think this next week I need to just set some more realistic sort of goals, and I need to quit letting the little things that come in. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go do this now. I'm going to go do this. I need to stick to more of like, this is what I'm going to do. And maybe just as those other things come in, just list them and start to kind of put those on next week's and, you know, kind of just maybe have a little bit more tunnel vision.
And I would say you should come to my buyer presentation class, because if you are having an overwhelming amount of items in your buyer packet, you might be overdoing it for what's necessary. So okay. Have you been to my buyer class?
I haven't, but I have pulled I have all of your materials saved, but no, I need to actually attend to the class.
Make that a non-negotiable for this coming week, because when you and I, when we wrap up my buyer presentation class, I bet you basically need like 4 items and you're good. Now, if you want a plus to 37 in your real estate career, that's fine. But the foundation is about 4. So come to the class and I'll help you become less overwhelmed. Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
So good. I like your plan to adjust. And I think the way to say it is if you erase, you need to replace. So if you had an hour on Monday and time got away from you, move that hour to Tuesday. Okay. Stella, how do you feel and how should you adjust? Unmute.
I was being so diligent about being quiet. I feel good about where I am. I have already adjusted, and I'll send it to you. I actually came up with a plan that has like to-do lists that are on sticky notes that I can pull off when I've done them. But it's one of those things, like I'm looking at how I'm actually doing my social media, and I think it was a little bit like a fire hose. So I'm adjusting a little bit of that. So it's more anticipatory instead of, oh, there she is again. So some of that, and then I'm like, I can keep going with what I've got going with my numbers. The open house thing, I need to find another rock, and don't worry, I have one, because one of the other rocks I had was the referral system as far as reaching out like Lauren is with other agents, and I've already started targeting that. But I'm going to kind of move that open house thing down to a little bit at the bottom of the pile right now, and we're focused on some other places.
Perfect. I love it. All right, Nancy, how do you feel and how are you going to adjust?
I feel good. I think what I'm going to do is I sent out like 300 of these cards, but I'm also going to email people the same. It was a spring forward card that also tells people I'm moving and I'm doing business there. I want to do social. I think social media, make sure I do one a day, because that's something I do hit or miss. So I'm going to try to do that one a day. Get 3 more Charleston contacts. I actually went to a store locally here in Pennsylvania. The woman's moving there. She and her husband are retiring there next year. So I'm going to go back, get her contact information so I could put her in command. And I'm going to keep reading MREA. I'm going to do 50. I'll do 50 pages a day. I think if I do that, I'm sorry, 50 pages by next week. If I do that, if I do 10 pages a day, that's more handleable.
And Maui, you heard her say that she's going to go back and get that person's information because it was specifically about real estate. You're going to have different relationships to that. You won't do that, but then you will on some. So you'll go to that. All right, now you're up. How do you feel and how are you going to adjust?
I feel really good about my goals. I do want to incorporate like more real estate talk. Like I'm a social butterfly, talk to a lot of people, but I miss the whole, like you were saying, like let them talk about themselves, bring up real estate that way. Sometimes I just skip the whole real estate thing because I don't know how to like enter in the conversation. So our talk and the network event helped me a lot. So I'm just gonna adjust by bringing it up more.
Perfect. That's all you can do is in this business, you got to figure out what script is going to become yours, because once you internalize it and you're comfortable with it, then it's just a conversation, but it takes time in front of people feeling awkward and then feeling more comfortable for it to get there. So you're on the right path, and that is the activities are going to create your career. And that's what you're feeling out right now. So good for you. Okay. So I think there are 3 people on this, if I count. Yeah. So Jeremiah, Aniqua, and I think Shaniqua, is that your name? Am I saying that correctly? If you want to unmute yourself, I'm saying it right.
Yes, you're saying my name correctly. Yes.
Joseph sent that to me. He wanted to make sure I knew, because your little thing just says iPhone.
Yeah.
Anyway, so for the 3 of you, so you just heard this activity with those who were here last Friday. The way these Fridays are gonna work is we're going to learn from Joseph for 30 minutes, or Joseph and Vince, and then I'm going to hit hard with accountability, but in a real positive, like just tell me how you did and how can we adjust to make sure next week's either stay on the same bullet with a tiny adjustment, or like Stella's doing, she's removing a rock because she realizes it's not low-hanging fruit. It's going to be a little too hard for her. So she's going to do something else and replace it. So if the 3 of you want to get in this routine with me, with this class, I've sent y'all the flow charts. What I'll do is I'll put in in the chat, my email. Lynn, sorry, I was reading. Lauren Celeste wrote something to you. Here's my email. I want you, if you want to be held accountable and just asked every week how you're doing, send me your 3 things that you want to focus on between now and next Friday. And then I will continue to give you my thoughts. My hope is that the ones who already sent me one got the message and were like, okay, the new ones I'm going to send Lynn are going to be a little bit more detailed, a little bit more drilled down, but I'll still just kind of give you thoughts if necessary. So if you 3 want to send me what you're going to focus on, I'm going to copy and paste them and then print them out and then ask you how you're doing. Now, did you three do Joseph's thing, exercise? Can I take down that per month for y'all? Are you there yet? If not, that's okay. I just don't want to hang up without getting that from y'all.
My number was 38, so that's just about 3 a month, just over 3.
3 a month. Okay. Shaniqua, did you get a chance?
Mine was 23, so about 2 a month.
Okay. And Jeremiah?
I'm 5 a month.
Perfect. I at least can start there with y'all next week just to see where you are, because if you then, now what y'all are supposed to do with that number is divide those into 4. So that's every week. How many do you meet with? Now, obviously you can't meet with a quarter of a person. But you can at least say, well, heck, if I met with 2 people on 1 week, then that means that I can scale that out and the next 3 weeks are fewer. So, all right. So everyone, honestly, I'm so proud of you. Y'all are awesome. I mean, every one of you did what you said you were going to do. And then you need to keep the attitude of, now I've learned how that worked for me. And I either am going to scale back to 2 letters a week, let's say, or I'm going to take open houses completely off. This is the whole point of like learning how to make your real estate career work for you versus you constantly spinning your wheels. They say master one thing, then once you've done it, move on to the next. So if I give you 3 things or ask of you 3 things a week, you're going to learn over time that maybe 1 or 2 things are going to emerge as where the majority of your business is coming from. So if we shoot high, so 3 times 12, well, 3 times 4 is 12, and 12 times 12 is a big number. Bottom line is every week, if you have 3 and that adds up to a year, but you only find 4 ways that you've grown your business, then it was worth the exercise. And you're learning what to weed out, what to keep on your schedule. That's the beauty of this beginning. And that's pretty much it. We've gone about 10 minutes over, but I did not want to rush through this since it was our first week. Y'all are that important to me. I hope, and I appreciate y'all staying. So now what we have is we have everyone's numbers per month that I'm going to talk about next week and ask you if like next week will be the second, the second week of March. So like, for instance, Aniqua has 3. So if by next week she's met with 1 person, she only has to do 2 more in March. That's the kind of conversation we're going to have. I'm also going to see what you send me and do the same thing I did today, which is, did you hit it and where do we adjust? And then the 3 new guys on the thing today, y'all send me your 3. And I'll do the same. I'll help you drill down. But then the goal is that every week you get a little bit better at drilling down on your own. And so that it's more like quick. I think that's it. Does anyone have any questions for me? If everybody wants to hop off, you have my blessing. I can be here until about 2:25. So another 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes. Anyone have any questions for me? We can work through and everyone can listen. Yes, Jeremiah. That's who I saw raising his hand. Yes.
5 minutes late. Could I get the updated percentages from the MREA conversion? That's the only thing I don't have.
You mean the thing that Joseph did on his piece of paper?
Well, like when I set my goals in Command, they have kind of the preset percentages of attrition, basically.
Right.
And I know Joseph was just giving this year's numbers updated from the MREA. Like it used to be this and now it's this. If I can get those numbers, I can update my own spreadsheet.
Okay, I'm going to send Joseph an email. Excuse me, I'm going to send Joseph an email with you copied with that.
He said they were both 75% for buyers and sellers. Both, it was 75%.
All right.
Well, each stage is different too, though, right? I'm just looking at the way Command does it as it moves through the system structure of transaction.
Okay, so she didn't answer your question. You still have more questions?
No, I thought she was asking me a question about my question.
Oh, no, she was telling you the answer that the updated numbers are 75%.
Okay.
Now, if you still have questions, let's do this. I actually realized I'm not going to email Joseph for you. You email Joseph. He's the economics guy. So go reach out to Joseph and say, help me with this. Give me those new numbers, and then you'll have what you need as it relates to this accountability or your 3 big rocks or anything else. Do you have any questions that I'm actually an expert on?
No, I just had that one. That's it.
Okay, perfect. So Joseph's your go-to guy. That's his wheelhouse. So you'll learn a lot better even if you have a 5-minute conversation with them. Anyone else questions before we wrap up? Okay, go ahead.
When is your next buyer class?
Let me send y'all this. The training calendar is, I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday, but I think I said it. I think, Jeremiah, I told you it incorrectly, that I realized, like, I woke up in the middle of the night being like, I told him the wrong thing. It is, I think, Wednesday, not Monday. All right. So I just sent to y'all the calendar. When you click on that, it's going to take you to our West Ashley training calendar on March 10th. Yep. 3 p.m. March 10th, 3 p.m. buyer's consultation with Lynn. It's about an hour and a half. I email what you need to everyone. I send it to like all offices. And then I teach and give you homework. And then you send me your homework if you want. And then I give you my real estate, my email system for contract to close. So it's a thorough class. It's just my system. If you already have one, great. If you don't have one and want to take mine, I give it to you, but there's some homework because there's no such thing as a free lunch. Just kidding. Okay. Any other questions or thoughts? Okay. So everybody feel good. We're happy. We got our next week's planned or ready to send Lynn the 3 rocks you have planned. And then if you need the flow chart or anything else, there's my email. Any questions y'all have, call me. I'm here for you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Go ahead. Everybody celebrate the weekend. Y'all done an amazing job. I'm proud of you. Really, really proud.
Thank you.
Welcome all the new people.
Yay.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.